gentleman from Kentucky is recognized for 5 minutes.
Thank you, and I thank the chairman for yielding, and I thank him for his support and leadership in bringing my legislation to the floor. As Chairman Hensarling has already noted, H.R. 3326 passed the House Financial Services Committee by a unanimous vote of 60-0. No amendments were offered by any of our Democratic colleagues during that markup. So it's disappointing to me that the ranking member is standing in opposition today, despite voting for this bill in committee, and then waiting half a year before proposing any changes. Nonetheless, I want to address the gentlelady's criticism of the withholding mechanism in this legislation because she seems to share a philosophy endemic at the World Bank, which basically says this: money equals impact. But this runs counter to the evidence we've heard again and again during multiple oversight hearings. It also runs counter to how the bank itself operates with its borrowers. The World Bank lends to poor countries by attaching conditions. People can disagree if that conditionality is too much or too little, but the bank affects behavior by telling governments that there are no blank checks. The ranking member knows this, and it goes without saying that there are many elements to bank conditionality that the ranking member and her Democratic colleagues passionately support. But if the gentlelady from California would never tolerate the bank writing blank checks to governments, it's odd that she wants Congress to write a blank check to the bank. Here's how a former longtime senior staff member of the World Bank put it in testimony before our subcommittee last Congress, quote, "The reality is bank staff are assessed by the volume of their lending, dollars of money lent, and that's just a poor indicator of impact on poverty. You have an impact on poverty sometimes when you don't lend at all." This perverse lending culture at the World Bank has been documented for at least a quarter century and documented by the bank itself. Without objection, I would ask unanimous consent to enter into the record a 1992 bank management review, commonly known as the Wappenhans Report, which details a pressure to lend that distorts staff incentives at the expense of management and project implementation. Again, this is from 1992. Well, fast forward to 2014, and a report by the bank's own evaluation office concludes that the pressure to lend is alive and well. I would ask unanimous consent to enter this evaluation report into the record. In addition to focusing on better incentives and management at the bank, H.R. 3326 requires the bank to more effectively support secure property rights, due process, and economic freedom. As distinguished academics such as Nobel Economics laureate Angus Deaton, New York University's William Easterly, and the University of Chicago's James Robinson have found, foreign aid makes little positive difference if we're indifferent to the poor's right to exert control over their livelihoods, own land and other assets, and be free from arbitrary government interference. Mr. Chairman, if the World Bank supports a corrupt government, that doesn't mean that it's going to help the condition of the impoverished in that country that is denied economic freedom. Why doesn't the ranking member support these common sense principles? If the bank doesn't lend with the rights of the poor in mind, then the ranking member's concerns about withholding money aren't serious. If money is being squandered and it isn't helping the poor to begin with, why would you not want to withhold it? Again, our Democrat friends love conditionality at the bank. They just have a change of heart when a Republican-sponsored bill is holding the bank to high standards. So let no one watching this debate be fooled by crocodile tears. Let me close by touching on the national security elements of this bill, which the ranking member also plans to vote against. H.R. 3326 incentivizes the bank to strengthen its work to fight violent extremism and keep state sponsors of terrorism away from World Bank resources. This latter provision was a direct result of bipartisan discussions that we had in our subcommittee, so it's shocking to see anyone on the other side of the aisle oppose the legislation. Finally, this bill would also ensure that the U.S. oppose World Bank financial assistance to countries that knowingly fail to enforce UN Security Council sanctions against North Korea. Our committee passed nearly identical language as part of the Otto Warmbier North Korea Nuclear Sanctions Act, which I'm proud to have sponsored, and the provision benefited directly from the input by my subcommittee ranking member, Mrs. Moore. The committee vote yet again was unanimous on that bill, and the House went on to pass it by a vote of 415-2. It boggles the mind that any member of this body would vote against that language as part of H.R. 3326. And in closing, if the ranking member is upset that we take the interests of the poor more seriously than the interests of the World Bank, then so be it. But I believe the bank's interests and the poor's interests should be aligned, not just in theory, but in practice. And if they're not, it's the bank that should look itself in the mirror. I urge my colleagues to support, and I yield back.